Hi everybody, welcome back to our chess skills for beginners and intermediates class. This is part 7. We're looking at tactics, discovered attacks, and discovered checks. As you know, at our college we have a chess club, and we have over 70 members now. I think we're close to 75 members as of this week. One of the things we do is we meet weekly on Thursdays in the Library and Learning Commons from 2:30 to 3:30. And when we don't have meetings, usually I talk about specific skills, and I try to put together a little presentation for everybody. And today we're talking about discovered attacks and discovered checks. Actually, before we do that, though, I want to go to our... why can't I get out of there? There we go. I want to go to our chess fundamentals checklist, or our fundamentals plan. Now, as you can see, we right now have, I don't know, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people in our class. They're registered, and we're all trying to participate in various aspects of the course. As you know, this course is open to everybody. It's free. You don't have to pay anything, obviously, but and people come and go as they please. They try. We have several students who come in person, and we have a class. This particular class went about an about an hour, I think, is how long this class was. I don't think the presentation will take this long because we had a lot of questions. But yeah, this presentation, we started the class off by looking at what specific training we have for February. We did talk a little bit about the mate in twos. This is the, I don't know what color that is, kind of an off yellow or manila color. We talked about the mate in twos. I gave everybody an assignment to try to go in and beat my scores. See if you can beat a minute and 24 seconds, which is not hard to do. As you can see, several of our students did. I don't know why Hunter didn't enter his scores in, but anyway, so we had mate in two, with a mate with 2 rooks and a king versus king. Sorry, I've been saying that wrong. Mate with 2 rooks and a king versus a king. Also, mate with 1 queen and king versus king, mate with 1 rook and a king versus king, and then also mate with 2 bishops. A lot of us haven't gotten to the 2 bishops part yet, but yeah, try to take a look at those. Do at least the first 3, and like I said, try to see if you can beat my scores. Then a little further down here, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, it's still in this section. Coordinate vision. This was something that Hunter showed me one day, and I'm going to show that really quickly. So if you go to, let's see, learn, and we go, is it practice? Is that where it is? No, it's not in practice. Is it maybe drills? I can't remember. It wasn't that long ago that we did this. Let's see. It's not analysis. Practice. End games is not end games. Shoot, where is it? I have it on here. Go to more and then vision. So let's see where it says more right here. Click on that. Or just hover over it. And then vision is right here. It's the 4th thing down under more. So click on vision. And what it's going to do is test your coordinate skills. So it's going to give you a coordinate, and you need to find it on the board. My best is 16. I've only done it twice, but that's basically what you do. I'll start it here. So it's going to go C5, here is C5, A2 is right here, A1 is right here, A4 is right here, F4 is right here. So I'm going to stop it. You can kind of get the hint, get the gist of what you're supposed to do for this exercise, I guess. And like I said, you get 30 seconds and see if you can beat my score. Like I said, it shouldn't be too hard. I just did 16. When Hunter was showing it to me in my office, I was just boop, boop, boop. I wasn't really trying to, go as fast as I could. The point is to go as fast as you can. So here's another thing. Beat my score of 16, and we'll see how we do. All right, let's go back to that presentation that we were looking at. I don't think anything else has changed in the spreadsheet. If you are not registered for the class, again, it's free. Just send me a message. Let me know if you want to join, and then I'll give you access to that spreadsheet, and then you can participate in all the lectures. You can, what we do is we play each other. whether it's on chess.com or we record our games on the DGT board and then we upload them into chess.com. And then what we'll do is we'll analyze them, put links on that spreadsheet, and then we'll all be able to see how we're doing and comment on, hey, we could have done this, or you missed a tactic, that sort of thing. So the idea is that we use our games, analyze them, and learn from them. All right, so let's get into the presentation. We had a great class. I'm sorry this is late. It was last Thursday, and I had a really busy weekend with family, so I'm just getting to it now. So thanks again for watching, and here we go. All right, so what's a discovered attack? A discovered attack is when one player moves one piece out of the way that was previously blocked by another piece and now attacks the opponent's piece. So that's the discovered part of the attack. So here's an example. This is just something I set up on chess.com. It's not from a real game, but black moves the knight to b4. You can kind of see with my green arrow there. So the knight moves to b4, which initiates the double attack. Okay, can you see what's going on there? I'll go on to the next slide so you can actually see it. So we move the knight to b4, and all of a sudden, now we have a discovered attack on the queen. So my bishop on b7 is attacking white's queen on f3. Now when I move my knight to b4, I'm also attacking white's rook on a2. So there are two pieces attacking two pieces of greater value, and one of them is the discovered attack, which is, like I said, the bishop attacking the queen. Okay, so however this exchanges out, black will be up in material because both of the pieces that I'm attacking white with, my two pieces are less in value than white's. All right, let's go on to the next one. Okay, this is another discovered attack. It's white move. Is there a discovered attack? Take a look at it. Pause it if you need to. There are a couple of ways if I remember how to play this, but do you see it? Okay, here's the answer. So I moved my knight, white's knight, to f6, and now it's attacking black's rook on d1. Okay, so white's knight is attacking d1, but also there's a discovered attack with my bishop on g3 is attacking black's rook on b8. Now, one of the questions was, why, I don't remember which student asked this, but why didn't I move the knight? This isn't a real game, that I played. It's in a 3-minute, so you don't have a lot of time to, to think about tactics. A lot of these moves in these 3-minute games are gut moves, I call them. So one of the questions was, well, why didn't I take the pawn on a6? And the reason that that I said, and I think Hunter backed me up on this too, is if I moved my knight to a6, I'd be attacking black's b8 rook. And so the discovered attack, which is my bishop on g3, would be attacking the same piece. So they could, in essence, move that out of the way. Another thing would be, well, am I really gaining a piece? If they move that rook, say, to c8, and then I take the knight on c5, they can take back my knight, black can, with its rook on c8. So, yes, I'd be up a pawn, but personally, I think this is a better situation because now I have two pieces, like I said before, attacking two different rooks. So in either case, I'm going to win a rook out of it. Okay. I guess I'm just explaining what happened in this game. Black took my knight with knight takes e6. Then I took, this is, like I said, a real game, then I took black's rook on b8 with my bishop. So bishop takes b8. And that's how that played out. I think that next move with black was black's rook on d8 took my bishop, so it would be d takes b8. From me, I still am up material because I have both my rooks. They only have one rook. I have two minor pieces, my bishop and a knight, and they have two knights. So I'm up a rook in that exchange. Okay, a discovered check. So Similar to a discovered attack, when a piece checks your opponent's king, it's called a discovered check. The attacking player checks with one piece, and the piece behind it attacks another piece. So let's kind of go through what this means. So here's an example. Again, I just set this up on a board. It's not a real game. So what happens in this example is white would move their bishop to g7, and then they are attacking black's king, which is on f8. So black has to move their king out of check or to take that piece. But what it's doing is when I move the bishop to put the black king in check, I have then have a double attack on white's queen with my queen. So actually, this is more like a discovered attack now that I think about it. I am checking the king with my bishop, and I have discovered attack on the queen. So maybe this is not a good example after all. I don't know why we didn't catch it during the class, because it's not really a discovered check. It's more like I checked somebody with a discovered attack on the queen. If I'm wrong, put a note in the notes about it. As you know, I'm a beginner, kind of intermediate myself. I am not a master of any kind. I'm just advocating and supporting our chess club. And at our college, I'm the only advisor we got. So you kind of have to take what you get. Hopefully you'll get something out of these lectures, because I'm trying to and I'm learning to. So let's go on to the next example. This kind of shows you what I did. Like I said, now I just checked the person, or checked black, and I have a discovered attack on the queen. Like I said, I don't know if that's really a discovered check because it's checking them. It's more like a discovered attack. And so what black did in this example, they took my bishop with king takes g7, and then that leaves my queen on c2 ready to take black's queen on c6. And that's what I did, queen takes c6. So white is way up in material now. What looked like it was in a winning position, not a winning position, but a winning game for black before, now is actually a winning game for white, because now we're way up in material. Okay, here's a discovered check. Another example. Do you see a way for black to attack an undefended piece while issuing a discovered check? So this one actually is a better example, in my opinion, because it is a discovered check. Do you see it? Let's actually move. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move the bishop. Watch. I'll move the black bishop to f3. Now this is an actual discovered check. We are moving a piece out of the way. Now black's rook on g8 is attacking white's king on g1. So that is the discovered check. What's nice about this particular example is, again, this is an example, it's not from a real game. When I moved the bishop to f3, it is now attacking white's queen on d1. There's two things that are going on here. Obviously the check by black on white's king, but also this deliberate attack on white's queen. Now, one of the students, I think, in the class, well, why don't you just take with the rook on e3? Just take the bishop. Well, that doesn't resolve the problem of check, because the black's rook is checking white's king. So they have to resolve that issue. They have to get the king out of check somehow. And so in this example, they move kings, the white king to f1, but that's out of check now. But you see, black still has an attack on the queen on d1. So black gets to have a really nice queen. So again, this is another example of what seemed to be a winning game for white because of that one move, that discovered check. Now it's a winning game for black because they're ahead by a minor piece. Okay, so what we did next is I just took some examples. A lot of these examples are from games that I just played over the last week, and this is one of the reasons why I keep talking about how all of us, when we play our games, after we play a game, we really need to analyze the game and look at the game. Look for what we did wrong, what did we do right, and then write comments in in the game PGM in the file, write your comments. How did you feel about it? What did you think? What did you miss? What did you do? Those types of things. So I think I quoted this last time. Andrew Martin says on one of his DVDs that I have, he'll say what every developing chess player or improving chess player needs to do is as they are playing a game or reviewing the game afterwards, they need to be able to explain every single move as if they were explaining it to somebody who's new in chess. Why is it that you move that move? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What is your plan? We need to be able to do that with every single move. And I think he's right on the. He's obviously right on the money. He's an international master. He's one of my favorite coaches. I wish I could have him be a coach, but he's amazing. Anyway, he's right on the money there. We really truly understand our game when we can explain what we are thinking and what we are doing with every single move. All right, enough said. Here's the quiz. I'll try and go a little slow, but if you need more time, just hit pause and figure these out. These aren't too hard. This one is from a real game of mine. This is what happened. I moved my rook to rook takes g2 check. White cannot defend and has a forcing move. Why can't they defend? Well, they can't take that rook that I just moved on g2 because it's protected by my bishop on b7. So this is a forcing move. Black has to move out of the way. So that's what they did. They moved their king to h1. Okay, what is Black's best move from here? Do you see it? This is what I did. During the class, we came up with a few different scenarios. I'm trying to remember what some of them are now. I remember this was last week. I think Stockfish said that moving my rook to g3 was better, but what I was thinking was I wanted to discover check in this position. I think this was a daily game. I don't think it was a like a 3-minute or a 5-minute or a rapid. But what I did is I moved my rook down to g6, and that's directly attacking White's queen. Now, also in this example, my bishop on b7 is directly checking White's king on h1. So they have to resolve that issue. There's a couple ways they could do it. They could push a pawn to f3. He could block with the queen on taking the queen to e5, but they're going to lose the queen. Or another thing they could do, they could block with the rook on the d file and take the rook down to d5. In that case, though, my rook is attacking the king. So my rook is attacking the queen. So what happened in the game is they pushed a pawn to take off the check. What did I do? I took the queen. So I think when we ran Stockfish, they said bishop takes f3 check is even better because I'm trying to remember what the valuation or the move progression was. I can't remember off the top. I guess I said the class was a week ago. But this is what I was thinking was I want to take that queen. And then I thought that was better than my bishop taking the pawn. Okay. Going back to f3. This is what would have happened. Bishop takes on b takes f3. Rook takes. I take. This is why this is a better move. I take the rook, and this delivers checkmate with queen takes f3 checkmate. That is a much better way to do it. I ended up winning the game anyway, but this delivered checkmate within, what was that, 4 moves? So yeah, something to think about. Definitely check Stockfish as you are reviewing your games. Again, I've said this time and time again to everybody. As we are reviewing our games, we want to do a nice overall review on every game, every serious game we play. Obviously, if you're playing a bullet game, you can if you want to. My opinion, you're kind of wasting your time, because when you play a bullet game, you're really, and actually like even a 3-minute game, 3 minutes per side, you're really only doing gut moves. And with your gut, what is your best move? You're not really doing any deep thinking. But when you're doing these longer games, definitely, do your analysis by yourself without an engine running, and then once you've written down all your notes, then look and see what Stockfish says are your best, your best moves. In this case, Stockfish was right. It was a better move than what I did. Okay, wow, that was a long explanation. This is another game, a real game that I played. Can you find Black's discovered attack or discovered check? Obviously, I'm Black. In this game, what is Black's best move for a discovered attack or a discovered check? Do you see it? This is a good one. For some reason, a couple of our students had trouble with this one. It's pretty simple, and maybe that's why they had trouble seeing it, because it was kind of simple. It has to do with the pawn, with one of my pawns. Do you see it? Okay. This is what I did in the game. I moved my pawn to d5. It is now attacking White's bishop on c4. Also, the discovered attack, not maybe that's why they had trouble. They were looking for a discovered check, but this one's actually a discovered attack. So now my bishop on c8 is attacking White's queen on g4. So in this case, I'm going to, they have to figure out how not to lose their queen, which isn't very difficult, but I'm going to win a bishop in this for a pawn. So that was a really good, I thought, discovered attack. In the game, White moves the queen out of the way to, what is that, f4. And so I get to take, wow, I did not do a good job with those graphics. I did take the bishop in this game. This is how the game progressed. So I took the bishop with my pawn. White brings a queen down. Now, if I'm looking at this, I'm playing against a 1474 level player, so they're better than me. Although my score fluctuates a lot because I time out a lot. I have a family, and so a lot of times I just time out. I think I time out probably 15 to 20% of the time. So that has to do with my rating. So anyway, White takes the c pawn with their queen, and then I move my queen up to d7. I was thinking, why did they give up at this point? It's not a. I thought maybe at first glance, I thought maybe I had trapped the queen, but they could always just take my queen. But no, there's a couple of squares that they could retreat to, and be just fine, and not lose the queen. They could have exchanged, but maybe they just decided to call it a game because I was up a minor piece. I don't know. So. In any case, that was fun. This is another real example. This was a 10-minute game, 10-minute per side game, excuse me. So a 20-minute game. And again, these are good because you can do a little bit more deeper thinking in these types of games. When you do the short games, it's very difficult to do any sort of deep thinking. So in this game, I moved my bishop to d4 to threaten White's rook. White blunders. White is probably thinking to add another attacker to the d4 square. Obviously, that's attacking my bishop. So White's queen and rook are attacking my bishop. But what is Black's best move here? Do I protect the bishop or do I do something else? I'll give you a hint. It's a discovered attack or a discovered check. Do you see it? This is what I did. So I took the pawn with my bishop. So bishop takes f2 check. They have to deal with that check. There's nothing they can do. But there is a discovered attack on White's queen. They have to deal with my bishop. So I'm going to take White's unprotected queen. In this game, White ended up resigning because I got their queen. Okay, so let's go to this example game. Now you're kind of getting what a lot of you already know what discovered checks and discovered attacks are, but now you're kind of getting a gist of what we talked about at the class. This game is, I think this is one of the examples that I had in the presentation you just saw. Let's see if you can follow through the game and see what, let's see if you can find the example of the discovered attack or discovered check. All right. All right, so let's go through the game. Oh, again, you know, like when you review these things, it's good to review your, you know, your accuracy. Again, I am playing a 1478 player. I am much lower than that. I've been very honest with you. In my chess development, my major goal in the games that I play is I'm trying to blunder 0 times. That's very difficult to do because I tend to hang pieces. That's one of my biggest downfalls. So those of you out there that are in my category or maybe a little less than me, try your best not to hang pieces. Try not to blunder, and that's what I do. In this particular game, I've got 0 blunders. I have 0 missed tactics. That's another thing I try not to do is miss a tactic, especially in these daily games that I do. It's really tough to not to miss tactics in, you know, a 10 or 20 minute game, or maybe definitely not 3 minutes per side. People are going to, and me, I'm going to blunder all over the place. That's why I don't invest a lot of time in these short bullet or short blitz games, because there's no deep thinking that really can occur. So this is a very short game. Again, because White gave up too early, in my opinion. I could have blundered very easily against an opponent that's 250 points greater than me. So here's the game. Let's go back to the analysis. I'll look at my notes. All right, so we start off with White plays e4. I am black again, so I play e5. They play knight to f3. I play knight to c6. They respond with d4, and I play e takes d4. This is something I do a lot. I do not like that tension. In the center, but just something I normally do. I tend to take the pawn if offered. So I decided to take the pawn on d4 because I didn't want White to push their pawn to d5. What that would do is if they had pushed forward to here, then they would be attacking my knight, and I just don't like that. It's I don't know if it's a waste of tempi for me, but I just didn't want to have to deal with that. So that's why I moved to e takes d4. Next move. Okay. White moves his knight a second time. Remember, one of the things we want to make sure we do as we're growing in our chess knowledge is in the opening, we do not want to move the same piece twice. We also don't want to be moving our pieces around the outer edge of the board. Yes, this knight does control all of these squares, but here, I'll do them all. But there are 2 other squares that if they develop this piece closer to the middle, they're missing out on the power of placing pieces in the middle of the board for control and for attacking power. So again, White moves his knight a second time and attacks my f7 pawn. That is this pawn. What else did I write down for a note? Oh, I am worried about White moving the bishop to c4, which Stockfish is saying is a good move, because what that's going to do is set something up like a fried liver attack. I don't know if that's the actual fried liver or if it's just something that's similar to it, but again, I didn't want to do that. So what did I do? I moved a pawn to attack the knight. I'm trying to kick the knight out of g5 because I don't want that fried liver-like attack coming down between my rook and my queen. All right, next move, knight takes f7. This was a mistake, according to Stockfish. I was not expecting this because I was not expecting this unprotected fork. I've not seen this before, but I'm playing someone 250 rating points above me, so I reluctantly take the knight with my king. Obviously, when you're live in a game, you don't see all the notes about, Stockfish saying this is a mistake. Again, like I said, this person is much higher than me in rating, so I'm progressing with, oh, what am I doing? I'm moving my queen, so I take the king, or take my king takes the knight with king takes f7. I'm worried because now I've moved my king sort of out into the open. Now bishop attacks me. This is what I'm starting to get nervous about. White's bishop attacks me by moving the bishop to c4 check. Next move. This is an inaccuracy according to Stockfish. Stockfish says this is an error and I should have moved my king to g6 instead. I'm trying to get the king back to the back rank, thinking that I'll be safer back there. All right, queen to h5. Now I'm still getting more nervous. I don't know what they're doing. So I move my queen, which ends up being a great move, says Stockfish. I'm attacking White's queen. All right, bishop g5 check. I'm still getting pretty nervous. White brings another piece into the attack. Now they have 3 pieces out. I'm not developed very well, so I'm pretty nervous. And in my opinion, White looks really good. But if you notice on the left, the valuation still is in my favor. It says I'm ahead by 4.6 points. So obviously I didn't know that because you don't get to see these sorts of things during the game. But again, I'm worried that I have a possible, if they were to, let's say if White were to, actually that's not like that. If White were to castle, then they could eventually move the rook to the e file, and then they could skewer my king to my queen if this pawn were gone. So I'm looking at this like with a whole lot of worry that there's a lot going on in here, and I don't have a lot to protect my king because I'm just not developed. So what do? I move my knight out to block the bishop. Again, I was nervous. I could have just taken with my pawn. What I didn't like about that, though, is that if I were to take with the pawn, then my rook would have been hanging. So I'm not sure about that. I would have lost my rook in that exchange. So what does White do? White's bishop takes f6 with another check. I take with my pawn with g takes f6. Then White queen moves to g4. Stockfish says that's a mistake, should have pulled it all the way back to the e file. I played d5, which is a great move. I was not expecting. Oh, no, that is a good move. That was a mistake, and it's probably why, because remember in the example previously in the discovered attacks section, this was the great move that we did before. By moving my pawn to d5, now I am attacking the bishop and my discovered attack on the queen. So this was a good, I played d5 to attack White's bishop on c4, but also have a discovered attack on White's queen, bringing me 2 pieces ahead. So White moves queen to f4. I take the bishop with d takes c4. That's when they move their queen down to c7 check. I move my queen up. At this point, I'm ahead by 2 pieces. White's probably thinking at this point, do I want to exchange queens? What do I do? I think that might be why White gave up at this point, because like I said, I was up by 2 pieces. So I don't know. I hope you got something out of that game. Like I said, what we all should be doing in our class is taking a look at some of these serious games. Not taking a look at some of them. Take a look at every serious game you play. Do what I did. Write down what you're thinking. Write down what you're feeling. Because, like I said, I was nervous through most of this game because I was playing somebody much better than me. And what I was recognizing as threats and something that could, possibly win material were actually a couple of their moves were actually inconsistencies or mistakes. You don't know that during a live game. So don't give up. Always look at your options. Look for these tactics: discovered attacks, discovered checks, forcing moves, pins, skewers, forks, all of that stuff, because you can get ahead in material, and that's one way to win. Okay, is there anything else I wanted? Let's go back to the presentation. I guess those are all my notes. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, please do so. If you like the video, please let me know. Give it a like. If you like what I'm doing, put in a comment. If there's some ways that I can improve, please let me know. As you know, like I said, I'm a beginner to an intermediate myself, and I'm not claiming to be anything more than I am, which is an advocate of chess, and I'm trying to help our students at our community college to become better at chess. So I hope you do well. Hope you take care. Let me know if you need anything, and we'll see you next time. Now, the next class, which is actually in 2 days, but so it's this Thursday, we're going to be meeting. We have a meeting to talk about what the students want to spend some of the college funds on. We're looking at maybe buying a couple of instructional DVDs and maybe a subscription to a chess magazine. So we're going to have a meeting, but then after that, we're going to do another lecture that I've prepared already on how to create a study plan for yourself. Now, I'm not talking about how do you plan out your next move or your next combination in chess, or what do you plan on doing from the positions that you're in. No, I'm talking about, from day to day, week to week, what can we do to help us learn and become better at chess? And so what I've created for myself is sort of a schedule of what I want to do in the next few weeks in terms of how long am I going to study, what am I going to study, and I'll be talking about the importance of playing games. And I'm not talking about these 1-minute bullet games, even the 3 minutes per side blitz games, because again, there's not a lot of deep thinking. What I'm talking about is longer games where you're playing at least 10 minutes per side, if not longer. You have some time to actually look at your position and figure out what your best move is. And then after doing that, the importance of reviewing your game and writing your notes without the chess engine, writing everything down. Again, what do you see in the position? What were you thinking with each move? How are you feeling? Were you nervous? What was going on in your head? Everything that you can think about. And then you write that down. And then after you're done, you go through it again with the engine, with the chess engine running. You can see what Stockfish or whatever analysis software you're using and what is the best move and why. And the idea is when you have these mistakes, to actually figure out what did you do wrong. And the idea is when you truly understand what you're doing wrong, you don't do those mistakes again. We are learning from this experience. So again, this is coming from, I've watched a lot of videos. As you know, I'm a librarian, so I do a lot of research. I read extensively, a lot of books, etc. So I've done some research on what certain people think we should be doing. Kostya from the Chess Dojo, I've watched some things from him. Again, I've got some notes from Levy. Rosma, who is Gotham Chess. Some suggestions from Andrew Martin. Some things from him. A lot of like I said, I've done a lot of research to try to come up with a plan on what we should study, when, for how long, and how we grow from that point. So hope to see you next week. Again, thanks for watching. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.